Hello everyone, what's up? Prentice1215 here with another video review. Today I'm reviewing Transformers Studio Series Deluxe Class Autobot Ratchet from the first Transformers movie from 2007. But before we take a look at the toy, let's take a look at the box. So here it is, your Transformers Studio Series box. Here's Ratchet. As you can tell by the name, he is an Autobot. He's from the Studio Series line. He is the fourth Deluxe class in this line. He's from the original Transformers movie. He is for ages 8 and plus. Of course, that's just a suggestion. They have to put that on there. He's made by Hasbro. It says Transformers along the side. This is from the Transformers Generations line because Studio Series is a sub line. And then, of course, this toy is also made by Takara Tomy. So the Americans and the Japanese working together. Glad all that World War II stuff got sorted out. So over here on the side, we have Ratchet standing here. You know, it's an authentic Transformer. On the side, we have another picture of Ratchet. It is the fourth Studio Series toy, and he's a deluxe class in several different languages. On the back, here we have Ratchet displayed. He's big screen inspired in different languages. He's an Autobot Transformers, Autobot Ratchet. He's from the Mission City battle in several different languages. He comes with a display. He has a short little bio. Autobot Ratchet clears the path with steadfast speed. Okay. And then here's 3 other toys you can buy, and that's pretty much it for the box. So here we have Ratchet. Let's move the camera down to get a better look at him. So here's Ratchet. Believe it or not, this is actually the first movie Ratchet I have ever purchased. That panel is not sticking in. Not to start off with the complaint, but here's the complaint, is that this, at least on mine, this panel doesn't like to stick in. As you can see. Oh well, that's not really that big a deal, it's just kind of a minor annoyance. But anyway, as I was saying, this is the first movie Ratchet I've ever bought. I never got any of the Voyagers from the first movie or Revenge of the Fallen back in 2007 or 2009. And I never bought the Dark of the Moon Deluxe Class Ratchet. You know, this is the first one I've gotten. And just for the first movie Ratchet I have, I really enjoy him. Now, he is basically just a re-release of the Dark of the Moon Deluxe Ratchet, but with movie 1 paint job on here. I don't really think there's too much different about what I've seen in comparison pictures. There's like one significant difference, and we'll get to that in robot mode. But other than that, it's pretty much the same toy. And I'm actually kind of kicking myself for not getting the original back in 2011 because this is a pretty darn good mold. I like this mold a lot. I think this one, just based on the one little thing that I've seen that this one does different over the original, I think I do like this one better. But yeah, this is a pretty nice toy. I do like it. It looks pretty accurate to the film. You know, you've got all the emergency lining and stuff. He is from the Department of Fire, Search and Rescue, and he's got that along the side. You can see here, Search and Rescue, Autobot Fire Department, and it's the exact same thing on the other side. He doesn't really have much by way of paint on the back, which isn't that big a deal, but oh well. In terms of weapon storage for the vehicle mode, he's got this tire up here, which then you can take his buzzsaw and... So that's the thing you can do. Not sure I really like that, but you know, if you want vehicle storage for your weapon, there you go. You can do that. Overall, I really like his vehicle form. There's just 2 minor complaints I have, and not counting this, because yeah, look, there's a foot. That is an issue, but it's not really that big of an issue. The bigger issues that really still aren't really that big for me, and this is really just kind of a personal preference thing, is that, oh look, there's his hands. His hands are just kind of hanging out down here. You can see both of them in his vehicle mode. And then, oh, there's his head. Hello. Hi, Ratchet. But yep, there it is. Very visible, even from most angles. You can just kind of see the head and hands just hanging out down there underneath the vehicle, but it's not really that big a deal. That's just a personal preference type of thing that I don't really like, but it's not really that big a problem. So yeah, so that's pretty much it for the vehicle form. It looks really nice, minus, you know, a hinge here and there. So, but it's got really nice molded details. Like you've got this stuff here on the side and all that. So it does look really nice. So let's go ahead and get to some size comparisons. Back up the camera a little bit. So here, to compare Ratchet, we have Ratchet from Transformers Prime. This is the only other Ratchet figure I own. It's this Ratchet and that Ratchet. I got him, you know, a long time ago now, since Transformers Prime has been over for years. You know, I got him, and he's been the only Ratchet in my collection. So I'm glad to have a second one now, especially one that's, you know, that's from the movie. And they do look really good together in terms of ambulances. They're almost. I want to say that Prime Ratchet is maybe just a hair longer than movie Ratchet in vehicle mode, but not by much. They're pretty close in size, and they do look pretty good together. You know, this is obviously a search and rescue ambulance, and this Ratchet's more of your traditional, oh, we got to go pick someone up from a house because they've had a heart attack Ratchet. So that's them. And then here we have, just because it's easy, movie 4, Age of Extinction, Bumblebee in his vehicle mode. So there's them together. And that'll be pretty much it for the size comparisons. And yeah, so that pretty much finishes it up for the vehicle mode. Now, with that done, let's move on to transformation. So to begin our transformation, we will pick him up because, you know, that's how you play with a toy, is that you pick him up and hold him. In terms of Studio Series figures, I feel like Ratchet may be the most simplest transformation that I've come across as of yet. Because, you know, Bumblebee is a little more intricate. Stinger, he's easier, but he's still got a couple of those pieces that you have to put in a certain way, in a certain order, or else it won't work. Ratchet, you can just pretty much pull pieces apart and he'll transform. So we'll start by folding those pieces back. And then just lift up on that, and now we have the legs free. So we can just pull those down like so. Oh, look, we have the legs. Just take the feet, spin them around, and we can stand them up, and we're done. No, not really, but that's kind of a funny looking image, isn't it? So we have that much done, and that'll allow us to move the arms around. So then with the arms out of the way, we can take this top section here and spin it around. Oh, maybe it only goes one way. I don't know why this is being so difficult. There we go. Okay. It helps if you hold on to this section and then spin. So with that spun around, then we can just take Ratchet's head and spin around this way. Now the instructions call for you to bring down this part of the... Oh, there we go. This part of the bumper. I clicked that in there one time when working with him, and I wasn't able to get it unclipped. But yeah, so you're supposed to have this unclipped. That's part of it. And then we can start collapsing the backpack. So that just folds up like that. You want to clip this off and make sure the arm's out of the way and fold it up like so. Now we can bring this down. That clipped into place there. And now we can work on the arms. So the arms have two points of articulation, two places to bend, so it's kind of double elbowed. So you got one there and one there. So this one's kind of done it on its own, as you can see. Basically, there's a little tab right in there. And you could just kind of swing it around. Until it clips into place. I've lost the clip. Oh, first you can swing, so there's these tires here, and then they have that on there. Oh, right. No, that's right. Sorry, this clip is for vehicle mode. There's a clip here on the inside of the tire that you can, I'm trying to get you to see. There we go. You can kind of see it now. That clip right there, and then this clips into this part of the shoulder right there. So then we'll just do the same thing on this one. Turn that around. Clip it into the shoulder, and we'll just bring the arm around. And then get some things sorted here. Kind of get him to stand up straight. And then there we have Ratchet. So Ratchet in his robot mode, he looks really, really good. Do a quick 360. There's only... Okay. I find that happens a lot in my reviews. I start to get into my one complaint and then another complaint arises. A little bit like Bumblebee from the Studio series. His limbs are, especially, not really so much the arms, but the legs especially, are a little loose. See how loose that is? And it can kind of affect... I mean, look at that. That's wibbly. That's wobbly. But it's not timey-wimey. And it can kind of affect his stability just a little bit. Especially on a slick surface like this table. So you kind of have to... It's a bit of a balancing act with him. But when you actually do get him to stand up straight, he does look good. Of course, you know, loose joints aren't the biggest problem. I'm sure I'm pretty sure there are fixes out there you can do in your own home. So if you get a copy of this toy and his limbs are just a little loose, they're an easy fix. So that's one complaint I have with the toy, which is, again, fixable and minor. The other complaint, which is also minor, is this. Wow, what an eyesore. It just sits down there. It just sits down there, and it looks like he has I mean, yeah. That's... They couldn't add another hinge that allows that to collapse up onto the back here or something. I'm pretty sure the Dark of the Moon figure didn't actually have this thing on top. I think it had the decorative wheel on the back, but I don't think it had all of this. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really affect too much. It just kind of, you know, it's not like it gets in the way of transformation or anything. It just kind of looks odd, just hanging out there in the back. And that's annoying, but, you know, it's a minor annoyance, and it doesn't really affect the toy itself overall. So, let's get up close here and see how this guy looks up close. Another minor complaint I would have with this toy is the lack of paint in certain areas. Like, look at Ratchet's head sculpt here. That is gorgeous. Like a lot of these Studio Series figures, the head sculpt is gorgeous. He just needs a little more paint. He just needs a tiny, tiny, tiny bit more paint around the head, especially on his jowls, for lack of a better word. And it makes him sound like a dog, but yeah, those pieces here that, you know, we know movie Ratchet has. You know, it's like, hold on, let me grab the box. These pieces here, you know, you know what pieces I'm talking about, of course, but just to visualize it, those pieces there could use some silver paint. But, you know, otherwise, I mean, look at all the small little details. Look at the small little details there on his head. he looks so good. His face sculpt is so good. It just needed a little bit more paint, but oh well. And then of course, you know, there's molded in details down here. More down here picked out in silver paint, very nice. Overall, the look of this Ratchet, when he's not standing sideways. Overall, the look of this Ratchet is very, very nice. And I don't really understand the reason for having this down like that. I mean, it just kind of makes it look gappy to me. So I think I'm just always going to have him displayed with that up. Actually, it kind of makes it look like a face. You know, there's the twist. Hello, my name is Ratchet. Sorry, I couldn't resist. So, yeah, I mean, I think I'm always just going to display it like this. I mean, there's not really any reason to have it down like that. It just seems like an unnecessary step to me. But, oh well, what do I know? I didn't design the toy. But, yeah, other than the eyesore that is that thing down there, I really, really, really like the look of this Ratchet. He is a very nice figure. So, with that out of the way, now let's get into some size comparisons. Scoot him over slightly. Here he is with Transformers Prime Ratchet. So while they're in their vehicle modes, they're pretty much the same size. Movie Ratchet is obviously a lot taller than Prime Ratchet, as you can see. So, but even then, you know, they still look pretty good together, even though they're from completely different art styles and toy lines. But yeah, I do like the way they look together. So there we go. Won't fall over. So there they are. And then now we'll bring in the Last Night Deluxe Wave 1B. Modified, of course, because I added paint there to make them look better. So then, there they are together. And they, you know, and of course, they look pretty good together. Bumblebee and Ratchet, you know, from the same universe. So, of the three, Ratchet's the biggest. So, it's actually, you know, it's funny. I said in the Stinger and Bumblebee reviews in the Studio Series line that, of course, you know, they're made to scale with each other and not necessarily toys of other lines. And the same is true here with this Ratchet. It's just that he did start life out as a mold for Dark of the Moon. So, you know, he's a bit on the taller side for a deluxe class figure in this line. So, you know, he measures up a little closer to Voyager Optimus from Studio Series. And so then that makes him a little taller than these two other deluxe figures. And of course, that makes him a lot taller, you know, a lot more taller than Studio Series B. So, yeah. So he looks pretty good with one of his movie buddies. And that's pretty much it for the size comparisons. And I forgot a second ago, I saw it sitting off here to the side when I was grabbing the stuff for the size comparison, I forgot to show off his weapon. So here's his buzzsaw. You can, if I can get it, you can plug it into his arm like that. That's the way it's kind of advertised, as you can see on the box back there. So you can plug it into his arm like such. And you can plug it into either arm. It doesn't have to be this one. Or if you really do want to, you can also hold it like such. So yeah, that's pretty much it for his weapon. I always display it right here like that. And then put him in a little action pose. And then there we have, and that's pretty, and then, you know, that's pretty much it for this Ratchet. So, I really like him. Like I said earlier in the review, I never actually picked up the original Dark of the Moon mold that this was used to, you know, that was used to make this version. So, and I'm glad I picked up this version because the little tweaks, because with the little tweaks are basically the tires here on the shoulders. They weren't originally like that on the Dark of the Moon version. You've seen the picture at some point during this review. Those are a little different, but otherwise it's pretty much the same toy with a different coat of paint. And it looks really good, even if the color isn't exactly right, because you can even see it on the box. In the movies, he's actually more of a yellow color, but the toys always like to depict him in this bright neon green, which isn't exactly accurate, and I prefer the closer yellow. Well, it's a yellow-green, but it's still closer to yellow than it is to green. But, I mean, this is fine. This still looks great. So, and then speaking of looking great, we're not actually done here. We may be done with the toy, but we're not done overall because, like with all these Studio Series toys, you grab the box and open it up, and inside you get a little display. So, using said display, then we can put Ratchet just right on there, and look at that. That is pretty cool. I really like that. So, if you want, you can display your figure on this backdrop on your shelf or on your desk, wherever it is you keep your Studio Series figures. And that's pretty much it. I would highly recommend this figure. I think he's a pretty cool toy. Not without his issues, but what toy is? Most toys have some sort of issue here and there. Nothing's perfect. But even with those small issues, like, the big eyesore that's hanging there in the back, and just the color being slightly off, those aren't really big issues. I think it's a pretty good toy overall. Very solid. It would definitely be worth a buy if you have never picked up movie Ratchet before and you are thinking about this one. I would recommend it. It's a good buy. So that's pretty much it for this review. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that great stuff. Remember to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Those links are in the description below, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.